Hey there. So many people have told me that they've been prescribed meditation as a way to manage their stress, anxiety, their pelvic pain issues, or even their sexual health issues. And a lot of those people often tell me that they also find that it actually makes them feel a whole lot worse. So today we're going to talk about that, how to notice it, and then 3 things that you can try in order to ease into meditation in a safe and secure way. Hi, I'm Kana Kassard, and I've been helping vulva owners and couples figure out how to relieve the pressure and the pain of pelvic pain disorders, sexual health disorders, differences in arousal, and just challenges within intimacy. And I've been doing this since 2006. I'm here to help you today. We're going to talk about how meditation has often been prescribed for people to manage pelvic pain, anxiety, stress, sexual health issues. But there are ways that it actually can make things feel a lot worse or can even trigger trauma responses. So in today's video, we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about 3 different techniques that you can use in order to help reduce anxiety and stress, but in an accessible way that doesn't trigger a trauma response or at worst even re-traumatize you or your traumatized system. So here are some things that might indicate to you that what the kind of meditation that you're trying is actually causing a trauma response in your body. So you might notice some numbness, you might notice floaty, ungrounded sensations, where you are actually feeling literally disconnected from the chair or from the couch or from the floor. You might also notice some panic or some increased emotional dysregulation, so things feel actually a little bit more intense. We don't want that. You also might feel dizzy or numbed sensations in your extremities, like your hands or your feet. You might also feel or notice some narrowed vision, like you're almost going to pass out. So if you're experiencing those, it's really important that you work with a trauma-informed either therapist or meditation guide, someone who can help recognize when those symptoms come up, because when you get into those spaces, it can be hard you're on your own to recognize them and then get grounded again. So it's really, really important to work with someone who knows how to recognize the symptoms and then help you get grounded. So if you're doing this on your own, or if you've done it with a therapist and things still just aren't quite feeling right, these are 3 ways that you might be able to try to ease into a meditation practice that's a lot more accessible and safe and doesn't create a trauma trigger. So the first one is going to be the soft gaze. And so a lot of people think that when they meditate, they have to close their eyes and really feel into their body. But for a lot of people who have experienced trauma, that can actually be very dysregulating, very disorienting, and really create more trauma, more anxiety than when they first went into the meditation practice. So the soft gaze is you want to take a soft look. So instead of really intensely focused attention on something, but not totally eyes closed and not totally glazed over, you want to take something that is called a softer look or a soft gaze. So what that might be like is you can choose something that's about 3 feet or a meter in front of you and just first pick a spot. And then once you've got that spot and you know that it's there, it's not moving, you want to pick something that's not going to move, of course, then you want to just kind of gently soften. So first you're going to point or laser point in on that little spot, and then you're going to soften and kind of blur the look or the intensity of your look around. So things will start to become a little bit more glazed in your vision or softer or blurred in your vision. And again, if this works for you, if you start to do this and you start to notice some of those symptoms I mentioned earlier, then don't do that and try one of these other options. So number 2 is called the external anchor. And so what that is you're going to either have your eyes closed if that's accessible to you and doesn't cause trauma reaction, and then you're going to take a soft gaze. And like I mentioned, you can try the soft gaze. If that works for you, great. So use that here. And then you're going to, instead of closing your eyes or taking a soft gaze and focus on whatever meditation you're following along, you can actually try this one instead as a way to help your body get a little bit more grounded and make it easier for you to be embodied, which is the point of meditation and mindfulness, is to help you get more embodied in a safe way. So with the external anchor exercise, you're going to be maybe noticing something like on your fingertips or on your toes. And so that might be touching something that feels pleasant. So maybe like if you're like touching the wall and that feels pleasant to you, or feeling your socks and your toes and just noticing those sensations. Now that's going to be your anchor. As long as it's a neutral or pleasant experience for you, that's your anchor. And so you'll notice those sensations. So this feels kind of like rough and smooth at the same time. It's a little bit cool because it's cold outside. And when noticing that and focusing on just the sensations, your mind might get distracted or pulled away, or you might feel an overwhelm of emotions. And so just notice that you're getting pulled away, and then return back to the focus of what you're touching. So this is something external of your body, but still on your body and still feeling a little bit more connected to something, but not totally in your body. So then the third thing is noticing your clothes. So this can be really helpful if you've tried breathing exercises and breathing just causes more anxiety than when you went into it. So I have a lot of people who tell me that when somebody tells them to focus on their breath, it actually creates more anxiety because they notice how like constricted and difficult their breath is, and that their breath is not operating how it should. So if that's you, or even if it's not, you can try this too. You're going to notice the clothes on your body as you breathe. So you're not focusing on your breath, not on your nose, not on your mouth, not on your throat, not on your chest. You're instead going to be focusing on how your clothes move when you breathe. So you can, again, take closed eyes if that works for you, or a soft gaze, whatever does work. And then just notice while you're doing the meditation or the mindfulness practice, just notice how the clothes move against your skin as you breathe in and as you breathe out. This might be on your belly. This might be even on your back if it feels too overwhelming or triggering in focusing on your chest. So maybe even your back might be helpful. So the main point of all of these options is to really help get your meditation practice into something that you can actually do that actually works for you. Because if you're trying the way that some doctor tells you, or the way that some meditation guru, however well intended, if you're trying it that way and it's actually making you feel worse, these are the 3 ways that you can try out to see if this makes it a little bit more accessible for you. Okay, so now some bonuses. One thing that I think is really important to know is that you don't necessarily have to do a 10-minute meditation or even a 5-minute meditation if that feels like it's too much for you. Even if the meditation guru or the doctor, however well intended, they might suggest this, but they might not realize that actually a trauma-informed approach to meditation is going to be the thing that will actually help your treatment plan along. So try even like 30 seconds for a moment, just to practice and see what it's like to experience the techniques that I mentioned today. The other thing that you can do is just go really easy on yourself. Have lots of compassion. If this doesn't work for you, it doesn't mean that you don't know how to do it or that you're doing it wrong. It just means that you're not exactly sure how to incorporate it in a way that works for you. And that's why it's really important, or it could be really helpful, for you to work with a trauma-informed therapist or a trauma-informed meditation guide. And so, you can always check those out and see if there's somebody out there who's trauma-informed in those areas, or ask your therapist if they are aware of other ways that you can learn to meditate in ways that don't activate a trauma response. So today we talked about 3 techniques that you can use in order to work on your meditation practice in a way that doesn't amplify anxiety, create more pain flares, or create trauma triggers. And if this was helpful for you, you might enjoy the rest of my videos on pelvic pain treatment, sexual health topics. If you do, make sure to subscribe and get notifications so that you don't miss anything. Plus, if you subscribe, it tells the YouTube powers that be that this content is helpful for people just like you, and they will work harder to get it in front of the people who need it, just like you did. Thanks again so much, and we'll see you soon.